welcome back to my channel. If you're new to this channel, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Guys, Christmas is around the corner. It is almost here. And I know a lot of you in the islands, love to have a good cake around Christmas. I know people love to have a cake in the house that when their friends come over, they offer them a slice of cake. But we will be baking some cake today. I say we because I know you're going to get the video and you're going to join me. We're not making our black cake today. We will be making that next week. You will be sure to have that. But today we're going to start with pound cake. And I know you guys put in your orders like really early to have people bake stuff for you. I want you to try this yourself. Just like I wanted you to try the sweet bread, I want you to try the cake. Now, if you haven't seen my sweet bread recipe, please go check that out. I also made a pound up there, cassava pound. If you haven't seen that, go check that out because we want you to have all these goodies in your house, okay, for Christmas. So let's get started. This is my pound cake right here, and I'm going to show you all the ingredients. In Barbados, we don't say pound cake, we say pudding. We're making some pudding. Up here, if you say pudding, the thing, you have that little liquid dessert that you eat. Nope, we're making pudding, Bajan style, okay? So let me show you all my ingredients that I have here. So you would know what to get. Get your ingredients, get everything together, and then we get started. So over here, I have some eggs. These are 12 eggs. Now, guys, normally when I was growing up, the older people always use 12 eggs to a pound of cake. The eggs make it a little more dense. They use 12 eggs to a pound of cake. As time went on and so on, we use like 4 eggs, 6 eggs, 8 eggs. I normally sometimes we use 8 eggs and so on. But I am doing everything this season the old-fashioned way, the way my grandmother made it. I am making it today, so we're using 12 eggs. If you want to use a little bit less, that's up to you. But we're going the old-fashioned way, and I'm using the traditional way. Let me say it, the traditional way. And I'm using 12 eggs. So these are my 12 eggs right here. I'm using a pound of everything. So I have a pound of butter right here. We'll be using that. Leave your butter out. Let your butter come to room temperature. You see my butter is soft. I left this out. It's been sitting out for a while. My eggs has also been sitting out for a while. They also came to room temperature. Over here, I have 1 pound of flour. Over here, I have half a teaspoon of salt. I have a teaspoon of cinnamon. I have half a teaspoon of allspice, half a teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Over here, I have in here, this is some raisins. I'm gonna put raisins in there, but raisins are always optional, so you can leave this out if you don't like raisins. It's optional. And this is milk and water. I have half a cup of water and half a cup of milk. I like to mix my milk and my water together because when you use just milk, I think and with all these eggs, it makes your cake goes off like really quickly. It starts to taste like a little bit funny, but you'll have to keep it in the refrigerator. But using the water, to me, it doesn't do that. So I mix half a cup of water and half a cup of milk to my raisins, just to soak the raisins before you start to bake, to mix everything up. That way when you're baking, everything doesn't just fall to the bottom, okay? So I also have here 1 pound of sugar, which is like 2 cups. You can use 2 cups instead of if you don't have a measuring scale. But I also use a little bit less than 2 cups because 2 cups for me is a little bit sweet and I want to cut back on the sweetness. So I took out a little bit of the sugar, okay? Maybe like a quarter cup of the sugar, okay? That's just my preference, but you can use the whole 2 cups. And of course, you need your baking pans. So we're gonna deal with these baking pans in a little bit. I gotta grease these and flour them, but we're gonna do that a little bit, okay? And of course, we have our vanilla essence, and I have my almond essence, which we'll be using some of that. So in the meantime, this is easy. Just get all these ingredients together to get started. Now, what we're gonna start with is our butter. So let me put some stuff over here. I'm gonna start with the butter. So I'm gonna go ahead and empty the butter in here. And I'm not gonna throw this out right now. I'm gonna hang on to the wrapper because you see the wrapper still has that little butter in it. So for my pans, I'm gonna use this to butter my pans. So I'm gonna put this aside for now. And I'm gonna go ahead and put all of this in here. So I have all four, so I have my pound of butter in here. So the next thing I'm gonna do to the pound of butter that I have is just add some sugar. And this is my sugar. I'm using brown sugar, but you know, you can use white sugar as well, but I use brown sugar. Now guys, when you have this here, there's 3 ways to do this, okay? Now, the old-fashioned way, the old people had is just take like a stick, I think maybe like the cuckoo stick that they had, and just beat until all the sugar is melted. You're gonna be here for a while, but at least you'll still have your cake the same way, okay? The other way is to take a hand, what is it called? The other way is to take a hand mixer and just mix it up by hand with a mixer, okay? But I have this little KitchenAid here, which is my little helper. It works pretty good, and I don't have to worry about constantly. I can just put it on and leave it, okay? So this, okay. And I'm just gonna leave that there and let it mix for a while. Now, I'm not gonna time it. You're just gonna check it every once in a while, stir it up to make sure that the bottom and everything is being mixed up well. And when it looks like it becomes nice and fluffy, the sugar is melted, you know that you're ready to add your other ingredients, okay? So I'll be back as soon as this is all mixed up. Okay guys, so now I think we've been beating this for a while. As you can see, the texture of it is nice. Most of the sugar has melted already. So now we're gonna start to add other ingredients like the eggs. So I have the eggs over here. I went ahead and I break the eggs, all 12 eggs. I have a lime here, which I forgot to add in the thing just now, but I have 1 lime. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and take the skin off of this lime because we're gonna use it. The purpose for this is to cut the rawness of the eggs. So when you're eating your cake, it doesn't have that rawness of the eggs. So this is the lime skin here. I'm gonna put that in there. And I am going to, I also have over here my vanilla essence, all the way from Barbados, ICAF. I'm going to take 1 teaspoon. I'm actually going to use 2 teaspoons of vanilla in there. And over here I have some almond essence. I like the almond flavor, so I will use a little more than 1 teaspoon of almond. I use 2 teaspoons of almond in there. You can use 1 teaspoon, or you can also use 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I use it 2 teaspoons because I like the flavor, the almond flavor. So now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to beat this up. Okay. So now I'm gonna add this to my mixture here. I already beat this up a good set. I'm gonna stop it for a second and I'm just going to wipe down, just scrape around the edges because I want everything to get mixed in. Then put it back. Now I'm going to take the lime skin out of here that we were beating up. Normally I would pour it in there, but I beat a lot in here, so I don't need to pour it in there. And pour our last little bit in there. So that makes, and after we've scraped that, I'm going to take the bowl out of here, and I'm going to empty this in here. Make it easier to work. And I scrape the bottom. And this is what it looks like right here. I'm going to flour, which has not been sieved as yet. I have, this is 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now I say to you, if you are, make sure that your salt is unsalted, your butter is unsalted, because if you put salted butter and then you add salt, you're gonna have a very salty cake. So make sure if you have salted butter, just don't put any salt to it, okay? So I have here my nutmeg, my little cinnamon, and my allspice. I'm adding them right here to the flour. I'm gonna mix this up together. Okay, good. Now I'm going to get my sieve and I'm gonna sieve this all into the batter. And now slowly I'm going to pour this in here and sieve it in. And then as you mix in, you just go around and fold it in. So now I'm going to pour a little bit of my mixture in here. Sieve some more flour in there and mix it in. Now guys, we're gonna add the rest of our mixture in here, our raisins and milk and water. That's 1/2 cup of water and 1/2 cup of milk mixed together. And just mix it in. Basically, this is it, guys. This is your Bajan pudding, pound cake, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so now the next thing we're gonna do, because we've set our batter aside, and I'm gonna left this here for a minute. Now over here, remember these wrappers that we had saved earlier? Now we're gonna take the wrappers and we're gonna, the leftover butter, just go ahead and butter our pans like that, with that. We're gonna do, I have 2 pans. So this is gonna give us 2 cakes over here. Now I have a little flour. I'm going to put some in here and just go around like this. This is gonna stop your cake from sticking to the pan. So make it easier for you to take it out. And when you finish, you can just dust out the excess. And do the same thing with this other one. And just, and dust out the excess. And that's it. We got 2 buttered pans. Okay, so now we have our cake over here. So now I'm going to go ahead and make sure you set your stove to 350. So by the time that you put your cake in your oven, your stove is nice and hot. So we're going to bake this cake at 350 for 45 minutes. You're going to go check it. You're going to test it. And you're going to continue to cook it until it's nice and brown. Okay? So you'll do that for like another 5 or 10 minutes. So let's go ahead and I'll tell you exactly how long it took as soon as I take this out. So now I'm going to go ahead and pour this in my pan. Let's start with a bigger pan. You're not going to fill it all the way to the top because it's going to rise. And you don't want it to rise and come over. So at least halfway or 3/4 of the way up the pan. This pan is a little bit big. Should take a smaller pan for this one. Okay. So guys, this is your cake. Make sure you just do this a little bit so that it does not settle in one area, but it distributes throughout. So you don't have one side higher than the other side. And that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven, 350, and I will be back. I'll tell you exactly how long it took. Okay guys, cakes are out of the oven. It took 45 minutes. By the time I checked about 45 minutes, they were done. So I did not need to put them back in again. But everybody's oven varies. So you may need to check yours at half an hour, 45 minutes, just to make sure. When you take it out the oven, when it starts to brown at the top, you take out the oven, you get a toothpick, you get something that you can stick in there, and you go ahead and you stick it. And if it comes out clean on both of them, you know your cake is done. So these are finished. They're out of the oven. I'm going to leave them to cool for a little bit. Once they're cool, I'm going to take them out. I'm going to come back and I'm going to cut them and show you and taste them and tell you what they taste like. Okay guys, cake is all done. Here we are over here. We had our 2 cakes. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut it. There we go. I'm going to cut it pretty big. Big slice. And there goes our cake. Bring the camera closer. There goes our cake. I have a plate over here. Let me go ahead. Now guys, now let me tell you something. See, I like raisins in my cake, but for some reason, my raisins always drop to the bottom. Now, I have put my raisins in flour. I have put my raisins, soaked my raisins. Maybe I didn't soak them long enough to make them a little bit plumper, but my raisins always drop to the bottom. So if you have another idea, tell me. I soaked them, as I said, and I put them in flour. Didn't work for me. Maybe it worked for you. So my raisins is to the bottom, as you can see, but that's okay. We're still gonna eat it. So let me taste this. It is nice and light. Just again. I like to do my happy dance. This is nice and light, and what is good about it is not too sweet. It's not like, because I took a little bit of sugar out to make it a little bit less sweet if you want to do that. But if you like it sweet, you add a full amount of sugar. This is perfect. Perfecto. Guys, go ahead. Make yourself a cake. Christmas is coming. You're going to need cake in your house. When people come to your house, you're going to get them a slice of cake. I'll be making my black cake next week, and you will be seeing my sorrel coming up. Angela, I know you told me to make jug. I want to make jug, but I got to get guinea corn flour. I have to probably go on Amazon and see if I can order that. Guys, I had fun making this. I hope you have fun just making stuff. If you've never made it before, just try it. If it doesn't come out good, it's okay, but at least just try it. Give it a try. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I had fun. I hope you have fun as well. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. Until next time, bye-bye.